Earlier today, I was looking at a short on pound dollar 4 hour. I saw a test of structure around 134.40s. I got the entry signal, 3-bar reversal, but couldn't take the trade due to an inverse risk reward. It's stubborn risk reward, always gets you. My target was 133.39 inside structure and 50% of a recent swing low to high. My question is, do you think my target is too conservative? My next look identified a target of 133.05. Let's check it out. I am very conservative by nature, so I'm the right person to ask about that. Or maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, because I'm going to be like, no, it's not conservative enough. But let's check it out. Let's go on the 4 hour real quick, just to give you some information on the daily. Here's what we've had on pound dollar. Right, so we guys remember that we were looking for bullish continuation for a long time here, and we came up to our levels. We recently broke and closed above our most recent structure high. But if we look left, we're not out of the woods yet. Here is a level of structure that has not been broken. This is why it's important, again, we spoke about this last week, about having perspective of the chart. If you have your chart only zoomed in here, you may be looking at this and being like, break and close above, bullish continuation, let's ride the wave, baby. But if you look a little bit left, you're like, we actually didn't break it. So always keep that in mind, because I got excited yesterday when I saw that. Because I was like, yeah, okay, I remember we had that level on the radar, I had it in my notes, and I forgot we had that higher level too. So just wanted to talk about that. All right, so let's get down to the 4 hour, see what's happening. Looking for a short on the 4 hour. I saw a test of structure around 134, so that's that same level we're looking at right here. I got the signal, the 3-bar reversal. Can you guys see the 3-bar reversal? One, two, three. I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl. Right? What was that? The Tootsie Pop commercial? Man, I'm old. They don't make those anymore. They don't make those commercials anymore. So 3-bar reversal right there. Now, one thing, just a note real quick. This has nothing to do with Fitzy's idea, but this is something in my trading, and I don't know if this was, I guess you can call it limiting. I guess it depends on how you look at it. So beautiful 3-bar reversal. I love it. High momentum candle up. Another green candle up. Inside bar, right? Remember we talked about inside bars right here. This is an inside bar with a break to the downside, which is positive. Also a 3-bar reversal with a big lower low, lower close. Now, the problem is that lower low, lower close, it may have been a little bit too big and messed up the risk reward, but it's a beautiful setup. Can anybody, for you guys that know me well, can anybody tell me why I wouldn't be able to take this trade? And again, this is just a me personal thing, which is you can look at it as limiting, but it's one of the rules that I have because I had to create rules to differentiate my trend continuation and counter trend trading opportunities. But who can tell me why I couldn't take this trade? Because there was a break and close above, because we broke and closed above this level. And not even on a daily, even on this time frame too. Because we broke and closed above this level, I could not take a short. I know it seems dumb, it seems stupid, Akil, there's structure right on top of it. But technically, that would have to be the next target point for where I think price would go to if it went lower for me. So it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, But those are rules. So we're looking at this move, 3-bar reversal. Looks nice. I got an entry signal after the 3-bar reversal. So let's draw that on right here. That would be an at-market sell right at the close of this. So at-market sell means like if candlestick closes below, right, then I then I sell at market. So you'd sell next bar market, it's called. So as soon as market order, as soon as this red bar closes. My target was 133.39, which is going to be right here on an inside level of structure. 133. I'm going to steal one of these. 133.39. Right. Yep. Right there. Let's make it green for money, baby. Boom. And the 50% swing of the recent swing low to swing high. So Fibonacci retracement tool. Ooh, I don't know which one of these FTSE chose, but let's see. We can always adjust. Swing low to swing high, 50% right there. Looks like the same even right here, yeah. So 50% retracement right there. So inside structure, 50% retracement. My question is, do you think my target is too conservative? The next level I looked for was 133.05. So for you guys, what do you think about this target? Where would you guys look for targets on this trade? Here's T2 right there. That's a bad color. And said I would put the first target at 133.53. So this is call this the and target. Can I do emojis in here? And target, I don't think I can I? Nope. Target has an R in it, Akil. Come on, man. We got 133.54 again from Chris. 133.54. Cody says 133 even. Let's add that one down a little bit lower. That's right around 133.05. Yep. So same thing. Scott says target 2 133.20s. Yeah. So I don't think it's a too conservative target at all. This is the first level that stands out for me. So I'd be looking in that same zone. Again, one thing you do is you can bring volume out and see if that makes any difference. My guess is it's going to be right here in the middle around 133.20. Yeah. So you can see a little bit of a spike up here around your number, but the main one is a little bit lower. But yeah, I think that's a decent target level. I think it just sucks that this 3-bar reversal was so low. What were your stop losses or stop loss, Fitzy, if you don't mind sharing? And there are alternative ways to get involved in this. We'll take a look as we continue to dive in. One ATR above the high. So about 37 is at our ATR at the time. It was 39. The high is right here, 134.43. Do some math, 43 plus 39, 82. If my math is right, 82. And is the minimum requirement a 1-to-1 risk reward? So I'm going to erase some of this stuff, guys, to get us a clearer view here. Get rid of the and target. No one likes the and target. Get out of here, and target. Yep. So if we know that targets are there, and I'd probably have mine's right at the wick here, right at 133, yeah, right above 133.50. I think someone else said that. So that'd be similar with that, 133.53, somewhere around there. Yeah, and yeah, I would have it at the end target, 53. You guys know I like my threes, but same area. So if we're looking at this, we know that if I take my Fibonacci from my stop loss to my potential target, I know that the 50% is where I would have my 1-to-1. So obviously this 3-bar reversal came down too quickly. So two alternative ways to do this, and one is just an alternative. One is not one you could realistically do, but one to think about. If you're looking at this from like, we talk about inside bars, and one of the ways to trade inside bars, it's much more aggressive, but in this case, it's a bias inside bar break. So you would put your sell stops, an aggressive sell stop order right there, and that gets you involved in the way down. Now, the positive is that in taking, and hindsight's always lovely, right? In taking this method, you would have had your 1-to-1 easily, right? But what's the negative? right? Because we don't want to think of the positives only. That's the internet does that too many times. Oh, let's only think of the good side and let's not ignore the bad side. And the bad side comes and it gets smacked in the face, right? What's the negative? It's easy to say this in hindsight, right? It's, oh yeah, I should have done this. It would have been profitable, right? That's stupid, but it's good for learning purposes, but not for people that just do it to do it. Yeah, you have no confirmation, right? Who knows if this is actually going to be a 3-bar reversal, right? This thing could easily be something like, I'm trying to find an example, and whenever I can find an example, I can't get one, but it can easily be something that wicks and just explodes right up. So if your confirming factor, meaning your confirming factor is something that you value, something that is important to you, if it is the 3-bar reversal, the break and close below, that is, it tells you something specifically, and you don't have that, then it's probably not a trade that aligns with your value. So it's a good aggressive tactic if you're someone looking to get more aggressive, but understand that it's not the same as waiting for the completion of that 3-bar reversal. But that is a tactic if you were someone that wanted to graduate from like, hey, I like 3-bar reversals, I want to be a little bit more aggressive, I can do something like that. 2 alternative reasons I see is this. So who can tell me what happened? We have our 3-bar reversal, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? What do you guys notice on our 4th bar? If you're like me on a wild weekend, I don't notice anything by the time I hit the 4th bar. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Fitzy knows what I'm saying. Yeah, I know how you guys get over there, Fitzy. Yeah. Woo. It's been so long. I wouldn't make it to the 4th bar, guys. I wouldn't make it to the 4th drink these days. It'd be like 1, and I'd curl up in my bed and watch a Netflix series and pass out. It's bad. So it retraced. So we know that on a lower time frame, that green candle is going to look like this, right? What is that? A pullback, right? So we know that maybe if I were to go down to a lower time frame, and we'll have to see when we go down to a lower time frame, maybe this was a pullback trade which offered a second opportunity. The third one we're going to look at is this, right? Price action broke below here. We're currently pulling back as well. Maybe this is another pullback opportunity, right? So let me ask you guys this question. Has anything changed, right? Despite our either ability or inability to get involved in a trade, has anything changed with our overall projection? Has anything changed with where we expect price to go to? Nothing, right? So obviously, ideally, we want to get in up here. It didn't work out, right? So whatever. I hate you, market. But it's not over because price can still get here. So if you have the ability, and we spoke about this, I think yesterday's Q&A about being flexible in your trading, having the ability to adapt, maybe adding different tools to your arsenal. If you have the ability to do different things and you're not just a one-trick pony, it gives you the ability often to find alternative entries, second chance entries, and still get involved in the move. So maybe we have some of that going on. So let's hop down to a lower time frame and see what happened here, right? So what do we have here? So we had a move here. We had a little bit of a pullback, right? We had a lower low, lower close right here. I don't know if you'd be able to get involved or even if that would have given you what you need to get involved. But I just said the same thing twice. That was awkward. But that could have been an opportunity right there on that pullback. Risk reward still looks good if you're going for the higher level like me and Ann. Ooh, probably not. But you can see currently, and I'm going to erase all this stuff here. Currently, what did we do? We broke and closed below. Hold on. There we go. Broke and closed below. We started pulling back. Our target level is still the same, right? Between the AND target and the FTSE target, 39, right? Maybe we get an opportunity right here to sell and still push down. So we can still look for that move, right? You can track it here on the hourly. If you're a day trader, maybe you go down to an even lower time frame of 15. You guys know I like my range bar charts. Our ATR is 16, so I'll head to a range bar chart close to the equivalent, probably a 13er. Here's a look on a 15-minute chart. So yeah, now we wait. What's the pound dollar, right? Now we wait and see if this perhaps provides us a secondary opportunity. Range bar chart even gives us another look, right? If you're interested. A head and shoulders, which is either valid if you are a trendline trader or at the decision point if you're a horizontal support and resistance trader. With, again, the move being down here. So we can still pay attention to this. There is still the possibility of a pullback and a continuation. We got a nice little complex pullback here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So certainly still trackable. Certainly still trackable. I'm going to put this on in our pro trade log as well, just to kind of get some things, different things in there. We've been doing a lot of patterns lately, but yeah, good example, Fitzy. Let's go back to pound real quick before we take our break. We are getting our pullback on pound, but it's not going to give us much on the hourly. On the 15-minute chart, you may have something stirring up. So keep an eye on the 15 for poundy. We're in that zone, so see if we get any type of reversal signal here. Curious real quick about the length of this pullback. That is a 1-to-1 measured move. I'd be curious. We always talk about 1-to-1 measured moves and AB equals CD patterns. If the market's moving harmonically, you'll often see symmetry between the pullbacks as well. So taking the length of this pullback and projecting it here as well can also be helpful. So let's keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on that pound dollar again. This one is doing exactly what we thought it would be doing. We were on a 21 range, I think. I'm trying to remember the range bar chart here. No, what range bar were we on here for pound dollar? Sorry, pound dollar. We were looking at a 13 and 8 range. All right, let's see, 8 range looks like. Yeah, looking at an 8 range here or 13 range, and then again waiting for a potential sign of a reversal. If you're someone that's looking for a 3-bar reversal, you may have one forming right here, so you can start marking out your levels. The cool thing about the range bar chart is we don't have to search our ATR. Why is that, guys? Because we already know what it's going to be. So we can look for, you can look for a move. We can look for a move here. We can start measuring out what our stops and targets would look like. 34.13 plus 8 is 21, right? So we know that if we do enter down here somewhere, and we know our stop loss is going to be right up here somewhere, you can start seeing if this meets your risk profile, the AND level, more than a 1-to-1, the 50 level, more than a 1-to-1, obviously. So should have a decent risk reward here. So keep an eye on this for potential 3-bar reversal here on the range bar charts. Or of course, again, like the lower time frame, like the 15-minute as well. Although the 15-minute will probably, you may get a signal quicker on the range bar chart. So keep tracking those. And again, I'm going to keep looking back at the pound. This is the problem with the range bar chart. It's like we have no idea when this candle is going to complete, right? The one before it completed at 8:55 or started at 8:55, and then 8:40. That was 10 minutes, and then that was 4 minutes between these two candles, and then 20 minutes between these two candles. So it's like this can form right now, or it can form a half an hour from now. You never know, but it looks to be at the end of its range. So one more pip down should close it. Now we're at 5. We need, where are we, 8. Yeah, so if this gets to what? 133.98. It's got to fight off 134s. 133.98 should close this candle. High 134.06. Yeah. So keep an eye on it. We may get it. Yeah. We need 2 more pips down. But that would be the entry signal, guys. It brings me back to my trend continuation days. That would be the entry signal. One thing we didn't talk about either, right? While we're on here, we didn't mention it, but what else do we have here, guys? If you're in need of more confirmation, little hidden divergence as well. Yeah. So, I'm excited. All right. Real quick, and get another peek at pound dollar because I'm consumed with seeing if we got that lower close and blah. Look at that. We didn't. This is why you wait for your signal, right? Wait until the bar closes, guys. If you were a trader that had some FOMO and you're like, man, it's going to go on without me, I'm going to miss it, I'm just going to enter right now, and then you enter it and you feel excited and you come back and realize you never actually got your signal, this is why we wait for the close of the candle. So we did not get the entry signal, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, like I said, it may keep us out of a bad trade. So real quick, I want to come in and give you guys an update on the pound dollar trade that we're looking at earlier. You can see here on the 8 range bar chart, we finally did get our lower low, lower close. When we last left off, I was showing you this right here. We're waiting for that lower low, lower close to happen. It did not happen, which threw a monkey wrench into our trading idea, but price continued to drift higher. We start to see some slight divergence on the RSI, bearish divergence right here. And then we finally got our lower low, lower close candle, if I can get my arrows working correctly, right here. Now the market did take us into a little bit of pain, but remember, this is why we give ourselves enough breathing room with that stop loss, right? With the high of our candle being right here at 134.17, that's going to put our stop loss at 25, which is all the way up here. And you can see that price came nowhere near hitting it. We're now making our way down to our previous level of structure and then hopefully beyond to that lower level that we spoke about earlier. So good opportunity to see how this trade finished up. I'm about to record a podcast episode right now, but if I get the chance before leaving the office for today, I'll follow up and show you how it concluded, whether it would have won or whether it would have lost. If you guys remember the pound trade we looked at yesterday, how about that? How about that? Look at that. Hats off to you guys. This was on the 15-minute chart we looked at it, and mainly the range bar chart, but the 15-minute chart as well. How about that? This was a good example of patience, literally, paying in the market. Also an example of what trading looks like, because I'll tell you what, we talk a lot about what struggling traders do. One of the hardest parts of trading, I was just speaking to a trader on a private message on the chat about this as well, is dealing with the emotional roller coaster that comes with trading. We had a little bit of a better entry on the range bar chart, but I'll walk you through on here. So just put yourself in this position in real life, right? We came, where's that stop loss at? The stop loss was right up at 134.24. So let's mark that here real quick. 134.24. Might have been a little bit different on here due to the ATR, but we'll mark that down. Let's say you enter at the lower low, lower close here. This is what we spoke about. Again, the range bar chart gave us a little bit of a better entry right there. But you entered, you immediately went down into profit, up 13 pips. You immediately went back into a loss of about 19 pips. You went back down into profit. You went back up into loss. You went back down to break even. You went back up into loss. You went back down into profit. You went back up into break evenness, right? And then you came back down here. What an emotional ride. And in order to be a successful trader, this is hard. This is one of the hardest part about being a trend trader. This is why I wasn't necessarily built for trend trading at the time, is you have to deal with that emotional roller coaster. And each time the market swings one way or the other, right? Each time you go down and you see it start to swing up, what do you think you're going to want to do? This is where fear comes into play. Oh my gosh, I was up and the market's going to move against me. I should just exit and take some profit, right? Then it goes into loss and you're upset. You're angry. And that loss goes back down into a little bit of profit. And you're like, oh my gosh, I was losing before and I felt real angry. Now I'm back in profit. Can't go broke taking profits. I should just get out while I can, right? Because any type of profit's better than a loss, right? And then you do that again. You're like, no, I'm going to stay with it. Okay, good. I'm glad I stayed with it. No, I can't believe I stayed with it. I should have got out because now I'm back in loss and now I went into profit twice. Fool me twice. Shame on me, right? And you have to deal with all of this until you eventually reach there. And we spoke about this yesterday where we said the market is the job of the market, right? If you were applying to a job to be the market, in the job description, it would say the market's job is to inflict as much pain on as many people as possible. That is its job. So the market is kicking your butt here, 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 and even kicking your butt this morning when I first looked at this, where it was trading right here, a stinking pip above profit. But trust me when I say, and it gets easier over time. It gets much easier over time, especially when you go numb inside and don't care. Then it's really easy. Easier. It's still tough. Patience pays off, but you don't believe it until you sit through it. It's kind of the opposite of a drawdown, where it's like your first drawdown is extremely bad, and then once you get through your first drawdown, you realize future drawdowns aren't as bad because you've kind of grown that tough skin from dealing with it. This is the same way. Very hard to deal with it. But then as you get more opportunities over your trading career where you see that, hey, if I just stick with it, it does what I want, stick with it, does what I want, then it gets easier. But it just comes with trusting yourself. The more you trust your ability, the more you trust your analysis, you're less likely to make those mistakes. And don't look at it. That's the real secret. Don't look at it. Get away from your charts. Do not look at it. It will drive you crazy.
I want to be the best in the game. Invest in my name. Check no restraints. I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain. Assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout, and fame. Mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate. Have to play the game. Have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display.